Welcome back to our series as we walk through the Urban Trails Kitsap book and go through the hikes one by one. If this is your first hike, be sure to check out the other hikes that we've done so far and hikes that we have in the future. Hit that subscribe button. Today we drew hike number 17 of the book. That's Clear Creek Trail. Clear Creek Trail has more than 7 miles of trails with multiple access points all across Silverdale. You can choose one end of Silverdale down at the waterfront park or the opposite end and work your way down to the park. You could also break it up into a few different smaller hikes if you'd like. So it's just kind of a good all around depending on how long you have and how long you want to take to do it. So today we're going to be starting at the Interpretive Center Trailhead. We're going to be working through most of the trail today, but probably not all of it. So come and join us as we go.
I recently took a stream stewards class learning about the creeks, streams, and waterways around Kitsap County. And one of the areas we talked about was right here at Clear Creek. That bridge that you can see there actually used to not be a bridge. It used to be two rather large culverts. And the trouble with culverts is for salmon, when they decide to spawn and come back to their home territory, they have a hard time getting through the culverts. A lot of times if the tide happens to be really low, they can't get through, and their young have a hard time getting back through as well. So a group of people looked at this area and decided to do some restoration work to help promote the well-being of salmon. So they created a bridge there instead of the two large culverts, which as you can see behind me here, there's a lot of sort of a muddy area, and that's called an estuary, and that's where saltwater and freshwater meet. It tends to be really rich in nutrients, and so they opened this area up, so instead of it being a really incised channel, it became a wider basin, which has allowed a lot of different life to kind of thrive in this space, and it also allows the salmon to swim upstream. From a human perspective, that took a 2-lane road and made it into a 4-lane road, so humans are able to get through better just as well as our salmon friends. A lot of these little trees that have the pink on them are planted by Kitsap Conservation District, and they're little natives that they're trying to see if they'll take off in this area to prevent blackberries from coming in. Because a lot of times what they'll do is around a creek bed, they'll clear out all the invasive vegetation like the ivy and the blackberries and stuff, and then shade is one of the best ways to prevent them from coming back, except for ivy. Ivy loves shade. So they'll plant these little native vegetative plants and see if they'll take root. It's tricky though sometimes along these creek beds because they'll get real wet in the winter, because they'll even be in spaces where it floods, and then they'll get like no rain at all in the summer. So they have to be able to do okay in both spots. So this space is kind of neat. What they've done is created a rain garden here for stormwater runoff. So the water actually hits at the top of this area here, and it goes into soil that's been created and deposited in a way that it best drains and filters the water. So the stormwater hits up there, and then it comes out down here cleaner going into Clear Creek, which is going straight into the Puget Sound. Rain gardens are really neat and unique, and I never appreciated them enough until the stream steward class. But all the plants that they put in here are really purposeful too. The ones that are closest to the bottom have to do really well in super wet conditions, and then they usually go with plants that enjoy more drier conditions towards the top. And they pick a lot of really pretty native species and avoid anything that could become invasive. So rainwater, this area that you see right here with all these beautiful little frogs is actually filtering a lot of the stormwater runoff from the Silverdale area. And the frogs that you heard that have stopped now probably because of my voice, they actually get monitored in this site and other sites across Kitsap County. So amphibians are one of the indicators of stream health, and what different volunteers and members of the Parks Department and the county will do is monitor amphibians that they would expect to see in these areas and see how well they're doing to know whether or not the water is healthy and the streams are healthy. So this is kind of a fun space that you could easily walk by, but actually has a lot of really good work happening here.
Now walking along the trail that kind of goes up along Highway 303 here.
It's behind the bowling alley.
Yes, behind the bowling alley. We entered it from the Home Depot end. It seems very private back here. Haven't seen a single person yet, and look at this cool walkway that they've built.
So amazing. Really digging this wood path we're on. It feels like little forest creatures are going to come out and say hi to us. Also, the construction of these bridges seems particularly tricky. Stream nerds, and also scientists, call the vegetation around a stream the riparian zone. And a healthy riparian zone will have quite a few things. First of all, it won't have just a monoculture of plants, it'll have some diversity. So a lot of times if you get an invasive species in here, it'll take the whole thing over, and it won't create like healthy edges to the stream. What I'm seeing here is kind of a wide stream that isn't really deep and narrow, and so an incised channel tends to push the water through a little bit too fast for salmon and bugs, so you typically want it to be a little bit flatter with gentler slopes on the banks. Other things here that are really exciting about this riparian zone is this overlay of berry bushes here. So what that does is allows little bugs and creatures to kind of be in that space. It also slows down the water a little bit, and it creates a little bit of shade. So baby salmon that are eating bugs and other things will readily have a food supply right in that space there. Some other fun things, this log here is changing the current of the water, so it's creating a slower pool. You can see some of those pools down in the water actually, which is kind of neat. So that creates a nice little space for those baby salmon and other creatures as well. Other things you look for if you're looking for kind of a healthy riparian zone would be a natural sort of wind and bend in the stream. Channels that are too straight tend to flow too fast for salmon that are migrating, or baby salmon as they're getting to an adult size. And so typically you want the stream to kind of have a meandering channel to it. So this area doesn't look like much visually, but it's actually kind of a pretty healthy looking riparian zone according to this stream nerd.
And this will end our review of the Clear Creek Trail, number 17 in the
Urban Trails Kitsap book.
And thought we'd take a second. We've made it down to Waterfront Park here in Silverdale, Washington. So we'll take you for a little walk through the park as we give you our review of what we thought of Clear Creek Trail.
Digging the trees that are in bloom. It's early spring here right now, and things are just starting to kind of poke their little heads up from the ground. So I really like seeing all the trees in bloom. This particular park, along with having a lot of events and things, it has a pretty good playground if you have kids. It also has a really neat dock for boaters.
It does offer a boat launch and some mooring capabilities. I'm not really sure what types here. Let me see if I can get the dock in the background out there. So I don't know if you have to pay or what to use the mooring out there, but it is day use only, I believe. But I think one of my favorite parts of this trail is how flat it is. I'm not a big fan of a lot of incline. I seem to peter out pretty quickly. But this Clear Creek Trail seemed to be real nice when it comes to how flat. So we got probably, what, 3 or 4 miles in today, and didn't seem too bad for me.
I feel like it's pretty accessible too because it's so flat, and they have pretty well maintained paths and trails. We saw a few older gals with walkers, and they seem to be doing okay on the trail, so I think it's a pretty accessible trail, which is great. There were some areas of mud, but that is pretty common this time of year, so just make sure you're wearing appropriate footwear. Man, I really liked it since I took that Stream Stewards class. I really enjoyed seeing all of the restoration work that they're doing and all of the natural stuff that's in place. There's been signage all along the way about different things that they've done to help improve sort of the health of the ecosystems in these areas, and so I really enjoyed connecting all of those pieces together about the stream restoration that they're doing. And even here I noticed that they use a lot of impervious surfaces for parking and things intentionally to help prevent stormwater runoff into the Kitsap. So that was probably my favorite. I don't often like how crowded it is in this area. When I go out in nature, I often like it to be kind of a solitary pursuit, and around here at this park and then also on Clear Creek Trail, it's pretty populated. So if you have dogs that don't really get along with other dogs, I might avoid this particular trail with your dog. Or if you just feel super introverted, maybe pick this on a stormy day as opposed to a sunny day, especially the summertime. It gets really busy.
Leaving our verbal reviews was one of the requests left in the comments on a previous video, so if you haven't got to see those videos, make sure you check out those. And if you have any suggestions or anything we should be maybe doing different for you that you'd like to see, let us know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching.
See you next time.